welcome back to another Phillies video, everyone. This is bonus episode number 2. In bonus episode number 1, we went 1 year into the future from where I ended the sim in 2031 to see how the Phillies did without me as their GM. And now we went ahead another 4 seasons, so we're now 5 years after I resigned as GM after the 2036 season. You can see here that the Phillies in this season finished 85-77 and did not make the postseason. You'll see names like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here. So let's get into this. Let's first look at how the Phillies have done in the 4 seasons since we last left off, which was the 2032 season when they won 108 games. So they followed that up with a 99-win season and made the postseason again. And then an 83-win season and did not make the postseason. And then in 2035, they won 96 games, made the postseason, and 85 wins last season and did not make the postseason. So since I've left, they've made the postseason 3 of 5 seasons. They've won over 100 games once. That was the 108. They came close the next year with 99. And just to see how they've done in terms of these postseason appearances, let's go ahead to 2032 was the one we did last time where they got knocked out by the Giants. Wait, I'm sorry. Did I? Oh, they don't have the history here for this. Right. Okay. Never mind. Confused myself there. So 2032. Hold on. All right. There we go. That's our last season. We got knocked out by the Giants. In the first season, which we covered last time, they got knocked out by the Giants. And then 2033, they got knocked out in the first round by the Diamondbacks. 2034 did not make the postseason. 2035 got swept by the Diamondbacks, so knocked out by the Diamondbacks again, and they went on to win, and then win the World Series. The Diamondbacks did. And then this year did not make the postseason. Sorry, I got myself confused there, wondering why this season wasn't under league history. It's because it's not the league history yet. And, oh, we're still in the World Series here. I just I thought I went to the end of the postseason. But, so I guess we got to go until the playoffs end here, huh? Nah, we don't need to do that for the Phillies purposes. But it's Nats versus Yankees in the World Series. And, okay, so let's get into the Phillies and some of the players that we followed during my sim. You know, first and foremost, Bryce Harper. Let's see what Bryce Bam Bam Harper did. Here he is. So Bryce, we had that season in Honolulu where he played 83 games. And then he went to the Angels at the age of 40. And let's get the stat view I'm used to. Went to the Angels, put up negative .1 WAR, 78 WRC plus, and then went to the Blue Jays and put up negative 2.2 WAR in 475 plate appearances. That was rough. Ended his career with 2656 hits, 547 home runs, 72.3 WAR. So that's your Bryce Harper update. Manny Machado. I guess I should have searched by his full name here, huh? Mr. Miami Machado. So Manny played until he was 43. Oh, he ended his career at the Padres. That's funny. So he went and played that 3-year deal in Portland that we saw him sign in the last video. And he had a really nice season at age 40, a 138 WRC plus with 3.4 WAR in just 90 games. And then the next year put up 97 WRC plus with 3.1 WAR. And then in San Diego, just did not get the job done at the age of 42. Was finally a negative WAR player, well below league average with the bat, but ends his career with 651 home runs, 3,322 hits. I mean, 87.1 WAR, just an outstanding career from Manny Machado. He didn't win any MVPs though, did he? No. Did not win any MVP, like season MVPs. He won some postseason MVPs. Whole bunch of all-star appearances, whole bunch of Silver Sluggers, 3 World Championships. So that's your Manny Machado update. Another guy that I wanted to update you on was one of my favorite up-and-coming players during when I ended my sim. So Ethan Doss, if you'll remember, was an outfielder that I drafted, or he was a two-way player that I drafted in the 6th round in 2025. Eventually was just an outfielder, never really pitched in the major leagues, but this was one of the more offensive decisions that the AI made. Yes, I am offended by it. So he came up, you can see he was kind of a part-time player. here, but was putting up just absurd WRC pluses. Playing behind Harper and Soto, there wasn't a lot of room for him. But 153, 133. And then the first year where I was gone, 383 plate appearances, a 158 WRC plus, 3.4 WAR in 90 games, and then they just didn't tender him a contract. They non-tendered him. Did not offer him arbitration. And he went to Houston and put up a nice 6.9 WAR. And then was really good in Houston the next season too. And since then hasn't done too much. He hasn't been as good. I'm not sure what happened in the 2035 season. Looks like maybe injury. And then was not too good in Toronto. But they non-tendered him after 3.4 WAR in 90 games, which is just nuts to me. I would have liked to have seen Ethan Doss as a career Philly. Another guy who I believe was possibly non-tendered, if you remember, Danny San Miguel was a guy who I signed as an international free agent in 2024 and looked like he was going to be a generational, not looked like he was going to be a generational hitter, but looked like he could potentially be a generational hitter. And it just never really happened for him. I mean, a 114 WRC plus, 116 OPS plus, pretty good. 333 on base, 481 slug. But you can see, his career high was a 128 WRC plus. That was back in 2033 between Philly and Oakland. So maybe actually they traded him. Yeah, they did. They traded him to Oakland in July of 2033. So Danny San Miguel, it didn't work out to where he became that generational hitter we were hoping that he would be. So let's go ahead. I also want to look at some of the awards here. And actually, let's go ahead and look at it. Yeah, let's do it this way. Sorry, I'm like deciding what order I'm doing stuff in here as I'm going. National League award winners. So did anybody, let's see if anybody won. So Giesky won MVP in 2032, we knew. Then he won it again in 2033 as a Philly. And then I think he opted out. So Giesky was, of course, like the best player in the league that we acquired late in the sim. So yeah, so he exercised his opt-out and then obviously rejected the qualifying offer and then went and signed a deal with the Braves for 6 years worth $188 million. And he then went and put up 4.7 WAR. I mean, the guy led the league in WAR 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the same thing there. 5, 6 years in a row. And then hit the market, went to Atlanta and didn't have a great season with the bat, but was still an awesome player because of his glove. And then had another amazing season in Atlanta, and then just finished, borderline MVP. He might get MVP votes with 6.5 WAR and 134 WRC plus. I doubt that he'll win it. But that's where our man Ken Giesky ended up. And what's his contract? He's still got a few years left in LA. So that's Giesky. And then 2034, Vlad Guerrero. We'll get to him more in a minute. He won it for the Phillies. So we had 3 straight MVP winners between Giesky and Vlad. And then Wander won his 7th MVP with the Dodgers. No other Philly award winners here until we get, what's this? This is like the Fireman Award, right? The reliever of the year, yeah. So Shearing won it in 2033, and then Alvaro Rios, who is a guy who I'm not familiar with, who's no longer with the team. So let's see what's up with this guy. So he didn't join the Phillies until 2034, but he put up a 2.9 WAR season. So that's him. So let's go to the current Phillies, and I'll show you kind of how they did that. And I do want to say, if you have questions you want me to answer that I'm not getting to, like players you want me to look up, just because I'm not going to go through, I'm not going to make an hour-long video here, leave that in the comments, because I'll make, if there's enough questions, I'll make kind of like a third bonus episode, just tail it around your comments. So you'll see this video on Wednesday, January 5th. It'll go up in around 1 p.m. Eastern time. I would say if you want your question in, if you have it in before like Wednesday, or let me think, Thursday, January 6th by like 6 p.m. Eastern time, it should be in the next video. But if it's after that, I might not get to it. But feel free to leave a question if I'm not getting to things you want me to look up. So let's look at some of this team. So Vlad Jr. was signed as a free agent in December of 2033. It was a 4-year, $104 million deal. He's going to have one more year left. And, I mean, it's worked out really well. Like, he put up 6.9 WAR, 6.5, and 5.1. Look at these WRC+, plus, a career 140 WRC+. plus. So he kind of started to trail off in Toronto in his early 30s, and then LA was okay. And then kind of resurrected himself here between San Diego and Philly. He's got 496 home runs, a nice 31.69 in terms of hits. I mean, pretty good career for old Vlad there. We've also got Francisco Lindor is here. He was a free agent signing last offseason. Let's just look at his major league. And so he was with the Mets. So he played out much of his career with the Mets, a long-term deal. And he really wasn't good towards the end of it. It's pretty bad. He ended with the Dodgers, and we signed him, it looks, to an $18 million deal. I don't know how he swung that coming out of the seasons that he was, but, the performances that he had. But he signed a 3-year, $54 million deal, which just makes no sense at his age and his performance level. Juan Soto is, of course, still here. He is not yet a free agent, so he's got a vesting option requiring 550 plate appearances, which he got, so that contract is vested, but he did put up a 122 WRC plus. So Juan is still chugging right along. 77.5 WAR, 140 WRC plus. He's got over 500 home runs. He's got almost 2,400 hits. So really good career from Juan Soto. Then there are some other guys who were guys that I drafted or brought in. Pat Urastegui. Yep, we'll go with that. My 2030 pick, first-round pick. So he's looked like a two-way player coming up, but I'm not sure why they have him pitching still, because he's just not a good pitcher with a 5.62 ERA, negative WAR. But looks like he could be a good second baseman for them for sure, other than this range that is just horrendous. Maybe they should have him via DH or first baseman. Yeah, I'd say it's probably a better move. Mike Anthony Valdez is still here, which is encouraging to see. He was a guy I was rooting for the whole sim. He's got a 117 WRC plus for his career. Good player. This was a fourth-round pick in 2028, Dusty Tomlinson with the 134 WRC plus. He looks like he's been a very good player for them. So glad that pick worked out. Chilji was a first-round pick in 2026. I mean, he's had over 2,000 plate appearances, but he's been just about league average with a 97 OPS plus and WRC plus. So certainly not a superstar, which one thing I wanted to look is kind of how some of my draft picks played out, especially my later ones. Like, let's go. Like, Will Karsten was my 2024 pick, who ended up pitching a bunch for me in my part of the sim. He was a really solid starter for me. Through 2031, he was kind of like a bullpen guy, but then he never really got it back together. His peak was when we only need to optimize my PC right now. Thank you, Dell. His peak was really when I was there. Going down other first-round pick, Marco Pantoja, who a lot of you understandably wanted me to play at shortstop over Willy Adames, but I never really made room for him because I wasn't convinced he would hit, despite this Gold Glove caliber defense. And he never really has hit. He's got a 66 career WRC plus. He's a good glove player. I mean, he put up 2.6 WAR with a 76 WRC plus for the Giants, but he just hasn't developed. And it's disappointing. I would have liked to see Marco develop a little better there. Childry, we already covered. Denton, I don't really remember this guy. So this was my first round pick, 36th overall in 2027. I guess there were some compensation picks there. And so he has not reached the majors, and he's 28 now. So I guess he's just not a major league player, really. I mean, he had a really nice season in AAA in 2034 and then struggled in 2035. He's probably just upset that he's not up maybe, but so that pick didn't work out. Melendez was an very interesting pitching prospect who put up 2 WAR as a reliever with a 1.93 ERA in my last season. And look, I mean, he's had a solid career as a starter for them with a, his ERA plus of 136 is awesome. FIP minus of 87 is really solid. 3.31 ERA. This is a solid guy at 33rd overall. I think you'll take that performance. And then Mike Isley does not look like he worked out. 32nd overall pick, and he never reached the majors. So that was a bust. This guy, this Yurio Stegi, we already covered. And then my last pick was this guy, Asa Klaus, center fielder, who, had two. Let's just look at this at Major League. Came up in 2034 and put up 4.3 WAR in 76 games with a 166 WRC plus. Now, he did have a 361 BABIP. Next year was a little more believable with a 123 WRC plus, 315 BABIP, and 3.8 WAR. And then battled some injuries in 2036, it looks like. So his career, teetering. Where is he going to go? Is he going to just kind of be a flash in the pan from his first 2 years and trail off here? Or is he going to bounce back and maybe 2036 was the anomaly? Let's see. We won't see, but it would be interesting to follow this guy. His career is, I would have been really excited if I was managing the team in 2035 when he busted, or 2034 when he busted onto the scene with that. So that, I do want to show you one more thing. And sorry, I probably should have just talked this out better. Sorry if I'm all over the place here. Let's see. Let's go to the positional starters, and you can see Romo's gone. Rutschman caught here for us. Culberson left. So this is the other guy I was thinking of that was non-tendered. So Nate Culberson, who was our first baseman, who really put up some phenomenal seasons with a 155 WRC plus in 2029, 147 WRC plus in 2031. But then he struggled in 2032, and they non-tendered him. They non-tendered Culbertson and Ethan Doss, and I guess Giesky opted out right around this time too. So he's bounced around and hasn't really, it hasn't come back to haunt the Phillies, I should say. I was about to say the O's, but he's with the O's now. He's a minor league free agent signing for them. So Nate Culbertson had some really nice seasons and still is a 121 OPS plus guy, but has trailed off a bit. So Adames played shortstop until through the 2035 season. He's still playing for the Angels at age 41. We got Mike Anthony Valdez here. Caleb Ford, the Rookie of the Year, was just a flash in the pan. Soto, of course, is still around. Harper is gone. We've got Childrey and Tomlinson playing there. Giesky is gone. Pache is, still playing at the age of 37 in Cincinnati. So some of these guys are still around. On the pitching side of things, Jalen Miller's still around, who I traded for during my sim, and he's the #1 starter. Carter Daniels, who it says he's a free agent signing. That's because he went to free agency and then they signed him. But he's a 14th round pick for me, and it's just worked out really well for being that late of a draft pick. A very solid starting pitcher. So I'm going to leave it off there because, I could go down every rabbit hole here and show you every player. But why don't you guys let me know what you want to see? Again, get the questions in quickly. I'll probably film the next video sometime later this week to be safe. Have them on here by Thursday evening Eastern time, and I'll answer them. And, of course, I'll probably do some stuff on my Patreon page, too, for people who have questions. But got to belong to the page to see that video if there's more in-depth questions that they want to see. But leave your questions. I'll answer that next video. Thank you for watching. I hope you're happy here with our Phils that managed to remain decent after I left them. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.